Perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Funtico's Community Night. Today, we're back with episode 3 featuring very special guests, Rishabh and Akshay from KGeN, our gaming partner that we're going to kind of take a little deeper dive into during the course of this session. And basically, before we get into all of that, I would like all of our members to kind of like get a little bit of context in terms of, your guys' backgrounds and the stuff that you've been doing before you joined the respective teams. So as always, I'm going to kick it off with our COO, Doron, and let him to kind of like give a brief rundown of what he's been doing at Funtico. And then I'm going to ask kindly Rishabh and Akshay also for you to just give a little bit of background on what you do at KGeN. So Doron, please take it off and then we're going to get into it.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to people in the US. It's so nice to be here, Sven. Thank you very much for hosting us again. And it's such a great pleasure to be here with our partners, KGeN from India. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy day. I'm Doron Wesley. I run commercialization for the company, which includes sales and marketing. We've been working very hard on bringing a Web3 gaming platform to the community. It's been an incredible ride over the past 2.5 years, and we're really excited about the prospects of where we're heading. We've got a couple of tournaments running on live right now, and today our focus is, of course, the tournament that we have running live with KGeN out of India, which is the KGeN Slam, and we'll get more into that. Thank you again, Sven.
Awesome. Thank you, Doron. Akshay, if you don't mind kind of going second, and then we're going to have Rishabh join us later.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doron. Thank you, Team Funtico, for this opportunity. I think good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm going to take this from Doron, so I like that for people all over the world, but it's been great. I'm Akshay Agarwal, so I'm part of the founder's office here. I lead partner success, treasury operations, and a few bits or pieces of things here and there. That's the beauty of being part of founder's office. And prior to this, I actually come from a non-Web3, non-gaming background. So I come from pure operations. I used to do supply and logistics in one of the biggest MNCs in the world. But as fate would have it, here I am and been part of the team for around 2.5 years, and it's been great. Lovely to meet with all of you.
Awesome.
Over to you, Rishabh.
Cool. Rishabh, if you don't mind giving a quick rundown on your background as well, and then we can kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the whole show.
Absolutely. So, hi guys, my name is Rishabh. I lead partnerships at KGeN. I do come from a gaming background. I used to be a semi-pro Dota player, but I'm not very good anymore. I started my career building gaming PCs because that's what interested me. I transitioned into building these PCs for magic internet money, or crypto as we call it today. As Akshay very rightly mentioned, as fate would have it, we joined one of the biggest guilds, DAOs that India has to offer. I joined the organization very shortly after Akshay, and today I think we're at the cusp of a huge revolution, I would say, when it comes to Web3 gaming. And I'm very happy to be here with one of our partners, Funtico, who are also building fabulous infrastructure in the space.
Awesome. Good stuff. Guys, thank you for your backgrounds and thank you for the introductions. Now, let's kind of get into the main topic of the show, which is shedding the spotlight on our official gaming partner, which is KGeN, the company that both of you are here representing. If you don't mind, I don't really mind, if it's you, Rishabh, or Akshay, whoever wants to kind of like take it up on themselves. Could you kind of tell us the whole story of KGeN from the beginning, so our audience can have a little bit of context on how you started and where you want to go?
Got it. So Akshay, should I take this one?
Yes, why not?
Perfect. Thanks a ton, Akshay. So thank you, Doran. This is you can buckle up. It's a long story, but I promise you it's an interesting one. So KGeN started off very, very early in the day as a sub DAO of YGG. We were called IndieGG way back in the day. The website that you see on the screen is our rebrand, and I'll tell you very, very shortly what KGeN stands for as well. But at the end of the day, when we started IndieGG, the idea was very simple. We wanted to bring every gamer in India onto the blockchain. Simple one-line goal, but the moment we actually got into it, we realized that there's about 600 million gamers in India, and no amount of capital, no amount of NFTs and tokens that you buy is going to be enough to support these scholars. We burned about $1 million trying this. We made a lot of friends, 150 gaming partners back then, and then we quickly pivoted to a more distribution-led approach. We realized that if you want to really, really bring gamers onto the blockchain, A, we can't restrict ourselves to India, and B, we have to also make friends with the people who are creating these games and this infrastructure. So we went on to a more distribution-centric approach. We built a ton of products that are useful for, again, infrastructure partners, gamers, DAOs, everybody. And the idea is still very, very simple. We would like to bring every gamer in the emerging market onto the blockchain now. And we truly, truly believe that at the end of the day, gamers need good games and good games need gamers. As a community-led platform, it's our job to, marry both.
Okay, perfect, awesome. So with all of that context, could you maybe like give us a little bit of background on like maybe what were the kind of like first game releases that you guys kind of like got into the platform? Like, what were the initial steps and kind of like titles that you were working with to get this initial user base into the platform?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Sankey, I think one of our first partners was Gods Unchained. I believe you and me were talking about trading card games right before the
For
space.
sure.
And this is before Gods Unchained had raised a round. We're also very, very close with the Skyweaver team. I don't know how many people on the call will remember the legacy TCG Skyweaver. Were responsible for their launch, pre-launch, and pretty much everything their marketing in India. I think you'll remember Sunspear Games and Immortal, the chess game. These were
Okay.
one of these. So these were the first titles I think we got into
I think
IndieGG
back
back
in
then.
the day, we were working very closely with the Axie team as well, running
Okay.
very
Oh yes,
typical guild
The big
model.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
lending out the NFTs and things like that. So, like, this is before my time when we were only pursuing the guild model. Gods Unchained and all, I think, came with a newer vision, with the newer mindset.
also, I
Gotcha.
think we had some very good partners such as Big Time. I think we did long campaigns with them. We invested in a lot of these projects as well. So it was a very truly different time. But yeah, the OGs that you've heard of, all of them, the Axis, the we've seen Ronin grow up. So I think there's no better way I can put it.
Okay, awesome. And now with all of that in mind, I'm also gonna like share something to our viewers as well. So I'm gonna like share the screen one more time, and I'm basically just going to give everybody a little bit more insight into the current gaming platform that you have. If you could, I don't know, like yeah, again, like Risha, but I don't want to put you on the spot forever. So maybe like Akshay, you could just give us a quick rundown of like what the platform is right now, and what are your hopes for achieving
Yeah.
with other games?
So I'll give you a very big categorization, right? So today you will see on the platform three different major things. One is the airdrop campaign, which we calling key drop. This is the latest product that we are into beta launch right now. So it's a bit of a alpha for you guys. So
Okay.
the actual launch is happening mid of August, right? So the one that you see on your screen right now is a questing platform. This is built from scratch in house. This is everything is on blockchain. Everything you do inside the games, everything gets tracked. You are validated through APIs. These are different game partners that we have. You get incentivized for how deeper you go in the game. You have leaderboards on. There are tournaments which are happening. So this is a very brief. Just go to the quest. Let's just go to the quest page. There are playtests that you can get access to. There are some alpha builds of games where the developers want to have a very early view of how things are functioning, whether on scale or on quality or on different platforms, like web, phone, which kind of phone, how are they performing. So that's how we sort of structure it. What you see right now is the best quest out there right now. It's with it's with the Funtico team. It's called KGeN Slam. So do check it out. There are, I think, $12,000 worth of rewards up for grabs, Rishabh, if I'm not
Oh
wrong.
yes. Oh
Twelve
yes.
thousand
Oh
dollars,
yes.
yes. So that is, I think, one of the biggest reward pools I've seen uh, after a very long time. But it's great. It's great to see the people who are on the platform. And I was just looking at the Rishabh was just giving me a brief on the retention numbers over the
Okay.
past 6 7 days. So
People be
that's really great.
grinding.
Yes, I think that's all thanks to Duron. With with the first, so just for the listeners here, anybody who grinds and who comes first on the leaderboard, you get $2,500. So do grind away.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, thank you for the kind words and thank you for the soft chill of the current Funtico quest. Much appreciated. At the same time, I was going to ask you guys to maybe like just give me a little bit more insight into, kind of um, how did you end up basically being the biggest gaming guild in India? I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that kind of involved, like some of your big backers, like Animoca brands and some of the, the exciting names
Yeah.
that are visible on your website. But yeah, how did the whole I guess like cornering of the market, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
happen for you guys?
So I'll be honest. So when we started with IndieGG, we had a pretty engaged community, which were Web3 first users,
Okay.
right? But obviously in India, given the regulations and the penetration of Web3 still a bit low, what we quickly realized is at the end of the day, when you're talking to gamers, they don't care whether it's Web2 or Web3. All they are here for is a good experience, is a
Hmm.
fun experience. I think that is what stuck. We were also very cautious of what partners we were onboarding. So there were instances where we have said no, and because maybe the game was not in the right development stage, not right enough to send it out to the community. That is where we got our product ideas to have play tests. This is for
Hmm.
developers who are still not there out there to have the game tested on large scale, but they want to get it done on a very small scale, control testing, concurrent user testing, things like that. So one is that. Second is, I think, productizing everything just so that we can grow at scale. So everything you see in front of you is built in house. None of these things are any of these white label solutions. None of it is like that. Everything is built in house. We have an in-house tech team, in-house data team who've been working day in day out to productize each and everything. And I think one of the things that clicked well, or I think which is a mantra for every startup or every new company going out there, is try fast and fail fast, right? It
Hmm.
goes on as a broken record by everybody, but I think you should be bold enough to say when things are not working, and you should be bold enough to test out things. So no shame in saying that we tested out many things. A few of them work, few of them didn't work. What you see in front of you are things that work. What you
Hmm.
don't see in front of you are things that didn't work. So, and I'll be candid here and even give an example. So we came up with a tournament platform and a tournament product back in January, but we took it down after 30 days of beta testing, sort of, because we realized that there were many gaps in the user experience, in the user journeys, in the data flows on the tech front, on the backend front. So we took it down end of January, and we'll probably take it live back again in September. So there's a lot of work happening again, alpha.
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
so we are planning to sort of partner with Web2 studios as well. So I think that's another point, that we did not limit ourselves to Web3 studios, Web3 games. So at the end of the day, we are a community of gamers, like I said. So we have worked with some of the biggest names. We have worked with Krafton, we have worked with Riot. Uh, we did something a little bit, I think, with Valve as well. So
Hmm.
we are not being choosy just for Web3 gamers. We are there for gamers. So we choose what the gamers want. Gamers want games and platforms and experiences. So that's how. And of course, shout out to our backers, partners, well wishers, like you mentioned. So Axel as our biggest, backer, Axel and Naspers.
Hmm.
Axel been great friend, great backer for us. Apart from Animoca brands, Nazara Technologies, and many more. So the list is big, but we're always thankful for those guys.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, and one thing that I also wanted to ask you, actually, on that note, is I guess the kind of approach that you also have, as you mentioned, like you're not necessarily like focusing on crypto games. You're focusing on basically what the consumer wants. And my
Yeah.
question to you here is, in terms of like cross-chain operability and all of this stuff that's kind of like being more and more talked about, as crypto is becoming more mainstream and more adopted, like by big institutions. I guess this is like a very hot topic, and or would be a very hot topic among the gaming community too. Like having this ability to have your games and assets be like cross-chain operable. And I just basically wanted to get your take on the importance of this for
So
the future.
I'll give you my view, and I'm not a Web3 native, right? So whatever I learned about the Web3 world and everything was in the past 2.5, 3 years. And to be honest, Rishabh has been my teacher in the Web3 world. And today I manage treasury for KGeN. But to be honest, for a new user and to increase adoptability of Web3 to somebody new who's not known this world at all, I think interoperability will have to be solved, because as the Web3 world grows, as newer chains come in each day, day in day out, I see chains, they are calling themselves L1 while they are EVM based. They are using ETH, but still they are L1s. There are ETHs flowing around in 10 different chains. There are bridges, swaps, everything is happening. Apart from the fact that there is still regulatory, I would say, disconnect in
Mhm.
pushing the Web3 technology out there, right? Across the globe, that regulatory disconnect is across the globe. There are a handful of countries who are, sort of pushing it out there, and there are a lot more who are not pushing it or just not talking about it at all. So I think interoperability will have to be solved at any cost. So and that's a key to bring in the users who are non Web3 native, and that
Gotcha.
is the only way to get this industry that hockey stick adoption moving forward.
Okay.
But from a gaming perspective, I think Rishabh is a better guy to answer that question.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned it, I have another question that I'm gonna put like Rishabh on the spot to follow up. But before that, I would maybe like Doran to just give us a little bit of segue into what I think we at Funtico are doing completely different in what was considered, like in 2021, Rishabh as kind of like the playbook for crypto gaming projects that we're launching. And I think the kind of like approach and the steps that we're taking are very different from what was the meta back then. And like Devan, I'm gonna like give you the opportunity to kind of like elaborate a little bit more in terms of how we went from actually like building the product first, having the games on, building a user base, and then focusing on the token and sustaining the economy of the entire ecosystem and everything else. Because I have a feeling like compared to 2021, the meta was opposite. Back in the day, it was like, oh yeah, we have a game, but we hopefully some days, but we're raising millions of dollars in tokens for it. Please come and buy it now. And then we all know how those charts ended up looking, like a couple of months after launch. So yeah, Duran, if you could just shed a little bit of light on, how we're doing things, and then Rishabh, you can maybe like give your take on whether or not you perceive this as bullish, and it kind of like maybe like sticks out to you in the current landscape, seeing as how you guys have contact with a lot of different game developers and studios.
Thanks, Sven. So first of all, I admire what Akshay has been telling us about KGeN, and I definitely have deep thoughts about that, but I'm going to keep it short and to the point. First of all, a shout out to all the young people that since the 2016 have been really pushing the ICO market forward with ideas, right? It starts with ideas, it starts with a following, it starts with a belief, and their heart was in the right place. Execution wasn't necessarily always right, but it wasn't just execution. I think that what Akshay was pointing to is something really critical, which is interoperability. If things don't work well together, it doesn't matter what great idea you have. If a person has to go through multiple hoops to connect a wallet, to connect to this, to go through a bridge, to do this, it becomes so cumbersome that even the most advanced user can feel incredibly frustrated that something so simple becomes, multi-step, multitask approach. So a shout out to all of those innovators that have laid out the ground foundation for what we're doing today. What we've done at Funtico was take all of the great work that's been done to date on all the levels, right, and all the chains, and say, let's bring experienced operators who can actually build a company and know how to not just raise money quickly from a group of followers who really believe in the project, but from institutional investors who really want for the long term to build a sustainable infrastructure that actually will continue and grow. And so that's what we did, right? We went about it differently. We brought in people who have experience in crypto, but we got the funding from people who've built businesses in the gaming business, in the casino business, in the fintech business. And they didn't need to be in the forefront. They didn't want to be named. They didn't want to necessarily draw attention to them. They simply said, let's hire the right people to build the platform and give them the rest to do so. And so for 2.5 years, we didn't do anything about raising money. We didn't do anything about an ICO, a TGE. We didn't talk about a token at all. It was all about can we get the right people in place to build games, right? So we got gaming studios to do that. And that's what the focus was. And then the last year, the focus was to build a platform. And what does that mean, the platform? Well, it's nice to have games, but if you don't necessarily have a platform that enables tournaments and rewards and loot packs and a marketplace and people to actually trade and wheel and deal, then you're missing the whole point of what Web3 is. When people ask me, what is Web3? The interesting part about Web3 is it's not about decentralization per se, and it's not necessarily about having your own token. It's not necessarily per se about NFTs as it's, but it's becoming much more immersed with the game. If we always knew that we went to a first shooter game, and we got progressively better, and we got a new weapon, and we got a new shield, and we got a new skin. It's something that we got, but we couldn't do anything with that. And what we're now at the stage are in is that whatever we earn really starts belonging to us, because now it's actually written on our chain, right, on the chain, and it's part of us. And I can then choose and say, you know what, I'm a person that really am very simple. I like my things that I got in the beginning. And so if I got this new pack or this new weapon, maybe somebody else wants to use it. So why not loan it to the other person, or why not sell it to the other person? And so the whole idea was to build that platform for any game to be able and enable that for their players. And so let the imagination run wild, let people start owning what they earn, and then let them decide what they want to do with that. Take that one step further and then say, okay, now that we've got this marketplace where people can do that, let's provide game developers who are really good in telling a story. Because what is a game developer? A game developer is a storyteller, right? They bring you into this imaginary world where you can escape from. And so let them do the best they can in what they do. And then let us make sure that they've got the platform for tournaments. Let them make sure that we've got all the stable platform for layer 2 and layer 1, and that we are connected with all of the necessary bridges, whether it's Avalanche or whether it's Scale or anybody else, really independent of what's happening out there. Let's make sure that we can provide the platform for, on-ramping regular payments, right? Same way that you would go into arcade. You don't have to worry about whether you pay with rupees or you pay with dollars. You simply, or euros, you simply go and pay, right? And let us worry about all of that stuff. So we take all of the elements of the hard stuff and move forward to create a platform that hopefully can provide a seamless way for gamers to come and play, for publishers to publish their stories in their games, and for players to really interact. If I sell something to the shop, and let's say I have a multiplier effect, maybe I want to share it with him because I noticed that the shop is really good in racing. And so if he's really good at racing and I'm really good at shooting, but I own the multiplier effect, why not share it together with him? I can share revenue with him, right? Because and he's share it with me, and we both benefit from this. It's not gaming the system, it's not exploiting the system, and then sharing with the people that we want to. That's kind of the platform that Funtico is. And again, what we've done is the platform is fully operational. We've got all of the bits and pieces working. And then after we had all the bits and pieces working, we then made sure that the games that we have are really working as well. So we've got Formula Funtico. We now have Heroes of the Citadel. It's in demo mode. And then we build a unique game for KGeN just for testing purposes. And this is the interesting part. And I have to say, kudos to everybody at KGeN for everything you guys have built. You have real gamers, not fake people, not bots. And I can tell you that for a fact because what we're doing with KGeN is a test. You know, when Rishabh and I started to talk about this, we started with big plans. Oh, let's bring 100,000 people and we'll do $100,000 in pool. And at that point, we said, you know what? Let's start with a test. Let's see if it works, right? Let's see if they actually have players coming from India or they have players coming from Nigeria. And I can tell you that despite all the challenges of always building a relationship, it's been nothing but stellar working with them because he then said, okay, well, you know what? Fine, let's do a test. And then we said, you know what? You're in India. A lot of people play on their mobile phones as they go to work, come from work and all of that stuff. Let's build a hyper casual game that people like. Let's take away all the quests out of it. I'm not going to ask them for email. I'm not going to ask them to join our Discord. I'm not going to ask them to join, and follow us on X. Let them play a game, choose a username, let them play a game. And then when they want to see the leaderboard, all they have to do is give their email, test it out, give a limited prize pool over a limited time period. We started with 2 weeks. We extended to 3 weeks, because there's always growing pains along the way. And again, we're working together resolving them, which is really cool. And I can tell you that despite all the growing pains, real people, not fakers, nobody's gaming the system, right? And anybody who's gaming the system, they're catching on their own. They've got great clans, chiefs, people, and I didn't know what it meant, right? But if people are really responsible for a group of people or players, they've got students, they've got people who work, and they actually play the game multiple times. It's totally allowed. If you're grinding away, why not? And if you want to win a prize, why not? There's not that everything is totally legit about that. That's it sounds so easy what I'm telling you right now, but I can tell you from experience, it's very rare to find people who are up and up, who are willing to play ball, and have a really strong organization behind them to make that happen. And I can tell you that KGeN has that.
Awesome. Thank you for the elaboration and all of the kind words for KGeN. So
I am blushing, Doran. Thank you so much.
So am I.
Yeah.
I think we had to drink some Coke just to water that down.
Perfect.
I'm not trying to, Sven, you and I have been working out for a while together. I'm not trying to listen. It wasn't easy. And we've had some challenging Telegram chats where we disagreed about something. But all the
I think
minds
that's the
come
best
together.
part. Yeah,
and
that's the best part that everybody's trying to solve the problem. Yeah.
And what else, when I heard Rishabh tell me about like he's marrying gamers with game developers, they're actually doing
matrimony,
that. Period. And they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing. And I have to tell you, and I don't want to sound rude when I say that, so I apologize for anybody online that's listening to this and may interpret it incorrectly. Sometimes it has to come over. But there is a difference between the West and the East. And there's definitely a difference between India and the US, the way we operate. When you look at KGeN, they are acting and behaving not just like a big Indian company, but also like a big US company. Beautiful design, very professional. They don't just do things for the sake of doing things. And I also admire that. I do. So that is a testament to the partnership that we're trying to build. Is it a success? We don't know yet. Right now we have 800 players. We believe that we can do a lot more than that. We're constantly sharing information with each other and trying to figure out how to optimize it. Our goal is to get to 10,000 players. I believe we can. I believe the will is there from both parties to make that happen. And the proof is in the pudding. But as you can see, we're not backing away, we're not shying away, and we're working towards that goal jointly.
Awesome. That's pretty much everything a hungry gamer would want to hear. So thank you for that, Laurent. Now, guys, we're already at our 30-minute mark, and I basically have just one more topic of discussion I would like to have with you guys, and we're kind of gonna use that as a segue towards the end of the show. So, Rishabh, I'm gonna put you on the spot here for a second as well.
Sure.
For you to also kind of like from your perspective and experience, can tell us I guess two-part question. Like one, like how do you see basically the developments that we've been doing in Funtico and just kind of like this approach that we're taking? How do you perceive it? Amongst the landscape of other crypto gaming projects that are building right now, and then a follow-up question to that being, all of us in this conversation, kind of being aware of the current state of specifically that crypto gaming niche right now, and the maybe like even the underperformance of what we are all hoping for in terms of like the markets, and then getting your opinion also of like what do you expect the next 6 to 8 months to kind of like look for crypto gaming as a whole.
Absolutely. Stanky, you said you're going to put me on the spot for a bit. This sounds like a long ass execution, but I'll try my best. But first, yes, credit where credit is due. I think I told you this right before the call as well. I really do like the Funtico platform and what you guys have built. I truly respect that because as someone who's built a platform of by, s- on, you know, by, sc- on, by scratch, from scratch
Mhm.
rather, so sorry. We've seen the challenges that come with it. And like I said, we work with our fair share of partners, which were in various stages of development. Some were in pre-launch, some were not even lucky enough to get to launch. But there were a lot of corners that I most definitely saw being cut in various aspects. You can say from the design side of things, from the interoperability side of things, from even something as simple as color schemes.
Mhm.
So that is something that's most definitely being done very professionally. And I also want to say this with again with full confidence that when you look at the Funtico platform, if you are not a Web3 native gamer, it's not something that worries you. It's not something that you look at and you need your friend or you need your colleague to help you through. Whereas in a lot of simple games as well, even the introduction or the menu has been so complicated. So many integrations have needed to be done that gamers have shied away from the game rather than play it. So I think that's something that you guys are doing and you're doing very well. Exactly. So if you can see on your screen, everything is very easy. You've seen how leaderboards work. None of the words look difficult. There's no weird icons like a MetaMask or some sort of a Web3 integration. There's nothing you require to start playing. If a game looks interesting, you can click it and it tells you if you can play it, which I think is what a gamer at the end of the day wants. They're looking to spend their time for entertainment and utility, which I think you guys are providing and providing in spades. Tournaments, of course, like I said, I come from a gaming background. Tournaments have always been something that have been very close to my heart. It's what I think have led to the increase or have led to esports being esports and gaming becoming what gaming is today. Very simply because you included that social and competitive angle in it. You guys integrating a tournament platform within your hyper casual game platform in it is in itself an achievement and something that updates on a regular basis automatically. Again, it's something that we dream about. I'm sure Akshay can collaborate here with me. The amount of times we've had to run after partners for data validation and APIs is a
Mhm.
significant chunk of our time. So kudos to you to build that and to have the foresight to build it before people asked for it. That would be, I think, the answer to my first question.
Okay. Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, and could you just remind me? Thank you. But I forget the
So
order.
the
What was the
second one,
question?
just from like your experience in the seasoned experience, kind of like in the crypto gaming space, and kind of like the current
Yeah,
state of that kind of like crypto gaming
correct.
niche right now. What are your? I'm not, and again, disclaimer for everyone: Rishabh is not sharing financial advice for anyone here. This is
Yes,
just his
absolutely.
personal take on
BYOR guys.
the market. But yeah, what do you kind of like expect playing out in the next 6 to 8 months for crypto gaming specifically?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think we should now, as builders and early adopters, I think the first thing we all should do is stop calling it crypto gaming and just refer to it as gaming. I think that would be the very first thing we should all be start. We should all do, and I am also as guilty as everyone else is. It's just a force of habit. But at the end of the day, we're building games. This is just new technology that goes into building them. I remember 2007, 2008 when GPU gaming was becoming mainstream and you needed a high-end graphic card to play any sort of a game. I remember Far Cry being one of the first ones that came
Yeah.
out with it. So it would have been a colossal shame if we would have differentiated it between as computer gaming or GPU gaming back then. Today we see the same problem with mobile gamers. So I think first off, let's call it gaming. And second, like the whole industry has evolved over time, when you look at new emerging tech coming out in 2007, 8, and 9, and then how it influenced games the next 10 years, this is the same way I see Web3 happening. This is what I truly believe. All the Web3 features and a lot of new emerging tech is going to go under the hood, because today a lot of people do not really care, to be very honest, about how the platform is functioning. All they care about is the platform functioning perfectly.
Mhm.
And if we need to utilize the blockchain, if we need to utilize AI to make sure we achieve that goal, nothing like it. Where I think the crypto as a technology, it can do a lot, is real asset ownership. I think you, Doran, and you yourself, you guys touched upon this very briefly. But as a Dota player that has had about 8,000 hours into that one game, I can tell you with full confidence that I've actually spent a lot of money on the account. And tomorrow, for whatever reason, if I break my hands, I break my fingers, I get bored of the game, I cannot get anything back for the
Yeah.
account, be it in time, be it in value. So this is a problem that all gamers were facing, and Steam and Epic and all the other centralized entities have their own marketplace to solve for it. But they take a 30% cut, which hurts. And if I have put in the hours, if I put in the dollars, or put in the time, I think I deserve it 100%, which is what we guys are solving. It's not going to be easy. It definitely hasn't been, but I'm seeing better quality games come out every year. And honest to God, my mother has played a few games of Solitaire Slam as well. She had no problem doing it, which I think is a step in the right direction, where someone that isn't even a gamer native is able to, uh, you know, utilize our platform and do fun things.
100%, 100%. Guys, yeah, that's awesome to hear. Especially seeing how you mentioned that, like we can even get like people who are not native, not even to the space, not native to gaming, period. To kind of like come and participate is always a good sign, and something to kind of like look forward for the future in terms of onboarding the next wave of consumers. So, guys, with that out of the way, it's been 37 minutes. I think we're going to cut the show here. Again, thank you so much, Rishabh and Akshay, for joining us and giving us a little bit more background and context on what you guys have been working on and building in KGeN. And thank you, Duran, as always, as being my partner in crime in this community show. So again, before we sign off, are there any last closing words that you would like to share with our listeners? Any prompt? I'm going to mention to everybody the KGeN and Funtico Solitaire Slam tournament is still open, so do check it out. You can see the actual handle here attached, and you can always go to the KGeN website or the Funtico website and basically like find everything that you need to get started. But yeah, any closing words, Duran, Nisha?
Just one from my side. Sorry,
No,
Doran, go on, go on.
go ahead. No,
I
please.
think this is something that me and Doran have always had a problem with. We both tend to interrupt each other. I apologize sincerely. All I just wanted to tell the listeners is, yes, it's a huge tournament that's live. Would love for every one of you to test the platform out. Maybe not just for the winnings. See how the platform works. See if you see a title that is interesting that's interesting, and you can check it out. Like I said, my own mother, she's 53 and she's played, and she hasn't had no complaints so far. In fact, I'd like to invite you, Doran and Stanky, to Discord game night on our Discord, where we could maybe play a little bit of Solitaire Slam and maybe check some of the
For
other
sure.
games, such as Heroes of Citadel out, and then the community could then also get engaged and ask you questions one on one. That would be cool.
Let's do it. I wanted just to thank you for joining us, you and actually as well. It's been such a pleasure. I look forward to connect anyway today, since we have to do that. And Sven, thank you again for being the host with the most, all the way from Zagreb. I look forward to speak to you after this. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Come play, have fun, let's win. Big rewards with KGeN and with KGeN Slam, and come and check out, constantly the new games we're releasing.
Awesome.